right, our last movie of the day, and I really wanted to talk about this one. I had been waiting for a minute because, Charles knows as well as those close to me that I don't do horror
Horror.
for the most part, right? But I was at Toronto and the movie was playing and it looked halfway decent, and I was like, what the heck, man? I'll sit here, it's daytime. What's the worst that can happen? Well, we'll talk about it in a second. Uh, Heretic, which is a horror thriller, tells the story of two Mormon missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who attempt to convert an English man, and it turns out to be a far more dangerous task than they could have expected. Far more dangerous. The film is directed by Scott Beck and Byron Woods, and it stars Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. And Charles, since you went first on these other two, I'm going to start here. Um, what can I say about a film, man, about two young missionaries, two young girls who are missionaries, who are just randomly going out trying to spread the gospel. And we've all seen the jokes, Charles, of Jehovah Witnesses that show up at your house and people slamming doors in their faces. And this is one of the last people that they have on their list this particular day, Charles. And the weather's starting to get a little overcast, and they're riding on their bikes. They chain their bikes to the gate, and they go inside and they knock on this man's door. And Hugh Grant opens the door, and Charles, did you get the feeling that he really was trying to get rid of them, but they persisted? And he was like, well, okay. At least that's how it felt to me. Like, but they persisted. And once you in, Charles will tell you it's hard to get out. I offered you some blueberry pie. He comes out there, his wife is, we can't really holler at you. We can't talk to you if there's not a woman in the room. I'm going to get my wife. She don't want to come out now. So the signs were all there at the beginning of the movie, but the way it's laid out, man, it is a very interesting story that as it progresses, Charles, it raises the hair on your neck, man, because there's so much tension. Because you clearly know something is amiss, but they can't really figure out what it is. And by the time they do figure out what it is, it's too late.
Way too
Too
late.
late. Um, what really makes this movie super special and super scary is that for the course of 30 years, Hugh Grant has created this persona that's always fun, lovable, big, playful kid, Notting Hill, Four Weddings and a Funeral. Hugh Grant, it's just always just been a lovable guy
About a
until he
boy.
made the Heretic. So all that bubbly, fun Hugh Grant, take that. Let's take Notting Hill, right, for an example, and just go 180 degrees, and you get Heretic, which is super scary, super suspenseful, and if you don't like horror like I did, not necessarily that much fun to watch. Not that much fun to watch, but I loved it. And I think people are whispering Hugh Grant's name as a contender. At least when he were at Toronto, people were talking about Hugh Grant. It's a sensational performance by him. It really is. In a film that I think if anybody else plays this, I'm still thinking it's probably good, but it's only added because of who it is, right? Like you don't expect it would be almost like, could you imagine somebody like say Denzel Washington playing this role? Because Denzel Washington has an edge, but we don't really has like outside of him being in Training Day, when has Denzel been a villain in anything? You understand what I'm saying? Or or
Yeah.
or, or here's a better analogy. What if it was Tom Hanks? Tom Hanks, I believe, is probably a even scarier movie because if you take, come on, it's Tom Hanks, man. Tom Hanks is scary. Ooh. So that's what I think, Charles, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm gonna shut mine down in a second, but I think part of what makes Heretic such a thrilling, scary proposition is that what we know intuitively, or what we or have seen Hugh Grant do. But yes, I like this movie a whole lot. I gave it a B plus, man. I thought Hugh Grant was worth the price of admission, man. He is super duper different.